Hey, good morning, TikTok. Good morning, good morning. Coffee. Hey, good morning, TikTok. It's me, your boy JDP, the unorthodox preacher. The preacher whom you say God did not call because I say words that most preachers won't say. Of course, you know I like to get on my soapbox and I like to talk because things be on my mind. And today I want to talk about black men abuse. Black men abuse. As a black man, growing up as a young black boy, I've been abused. I've been abused physically. I've been abused mentally. I've been abused sexually and emotionally and more. But my main thing I always wanted to know that most men who've been abused, I look at the rappers, I look at thugs, I look at gangsters or boxers, and most of the black men who seem to be hard or hardcore or masculine. Um, I've always wondered the reason why you act so hard, the reason why you act so tough, the reason why you put on this image of toughness, of manlyhood, of masculinity, because the world said what a man's supposed to be, and you're trying to fit that image because this is what the world said we have to be. But the truth of the matter, I've always wondered, do you let me see, how can I put this, your toughness, your masculinity, your hardness, your thugness, is that all a blockage to hide from the pain that you really feel about your abuse? Most men who do not turn out to be homosexuals, who have been sexually molested by the same sex, build this image of that they don't want nobody to know this. So now I gotta portray that I'm hard, I gotta portray that I'm masculine, I gotta portray that I'm heterosexual because of the abuse that happened in my life. And I don't want nobody to call me names, I don't want nobody to look at me weird because something happened to me. I've always wondered, why is it that when a black man is molested or abused, we get labeled because we're not as masculine or as not as tough or as not heterosexualist as the world said we should be. But deep down on the inside, a lot of us black men, and maybe men in general, is hiding because they don't want nobody to know the abuse that happened to them. They are ashamed about what happened to them. So this world will make homosexuals feel bad about themselves, but never say anything about the person who abused them. Never say anything about the person who took advantage of them. People will look at me and tell me, you ain't no preacher, you cuss, you a homosexual, you going to hell. All this that people label me, but as a young boy, as a young child who was molested, who couldn't defend himself, who couldn't take up for himself, who could not be a protector for himself. Now as I get older and grown, I am protecting myself. I am keeping myself from being hurt and abused all over again because as a child, I did not have that opportunity to protect myself. So most of us men who grow up angry or tough or maybe seem like we have an attitude, or if not, I'm just saying, I'm talking that just maybe the abuse, maybe the neglect, maybe the childhood trauma and the childhood drama causes you to be a protective adult. Because we don't talk about this. Men don't have a place where we can go and talk to. Men don't have a place where we go and be vulnerable and be open without being judged and called names or say, you ain't no real man. This world is a evil and corrupt, wicked world. People all day long will tell you that homosexuality is a sin and blame you or blame me for being the way we are, but never say what happened, what took place. And even if somebody never touched someone, even if this person never been molested and they just so happen to be born to liking men and didn't even have no opportunity or no choice, that's what they always felt from the very age. They didn't have no control of that, but yet you want to send them to hell because of how they feel, because of how they feel. And then you won't think that it's a turn on and turn off switch, which you cannot. So to the black men, to all the men, but I really want to talk about my black brothers, because we so angry with each other. We hate each other. We always looking at each other, mugging each other up and down because something is wrong, not with you, brother. Something is wrong with me. And something about you makes me angry because I can't figure out what's wrong with me. And then when words begin to fly between people arguing and saying things, it hit a nerve and cause you to be defensive and cause you to hold up this blockage and this wall in your life because you don't want to hurt you no more. You don't want anyone to hurt you anymore. So why us as men? Women got all type of support group. They got everything for the women. But when a man say, hey, this happened to me, no one wants to believe it. When a man say, hey, this took place in my life, don't nobody want to believe, because don't nobody touch little boys. This is what happened to me when I was a kid growing up. They say, don't nobody touch no boys. Go sit down. You just want some attention. All along I was being molested. All along I was being touched on and fondled with at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nobody in the family did nothing about it. My next segment I'm going to talk about is generational curses from the black family. I want to talk about the black family generational curses. But as far as black men, as far as a male, going through what we go through, we don't have no outlets. We have no way of venting or saying this hurt or this bothers me, because there is a picture painted that said a man's supposed to be X, Y, and Z. And if you do not fit up in these categories, if you do not fit up to these standards, you're not a man. So I've always wondered when I look at my brothers, the men, the heterosexual men that walk around so tough, hard, and act like they thugs and thinking it's okay to cuss out women and slap them down a couple of times, that makes you more manly, because truth be told, there's a pain there. There's something hidden there that you have not gotten a hold of. There's something there that's been hurting you from childhood, and you weren't able to talk about it. You weren't able to vent about it. You weren't able to say anything. So what you do rap lyrics. You say it in the rap lyrics. You say it in your poetry. You say it in your writing. You say it in your preaching. You say it in everything you do. And no one never pays attention to that. So to my men, to my brothers, to those maybe who have been molested, experienced molestation, those who are grown up to be homosexuals or whatever, this world is very judgmental. But I just always wondered, why is it that the men can't say what's wrong with, or why is it that a man can't say he was being molested or touched by another man? But now the fault is my fault because I was touched. It was my fault because I was molested. It was my fault that a venture was opened up for me as a child, and I experienced something without my own will that I was actually forced into. Now that I have grown up and this is all I knew as a child, being gay, don't get wrong, I still like women because I guess I consider bisexual, but I'm talking about the gay side. That, that's all I knew. And now people say you're going to hell for being something all you knew, or something that you were introduced to, or something somebody did to you, or something somebody put up on you. But us men, we just can't say this because we looked at differently. We are looked down, or we are judged or cast aside, or saying that I'm not a real man. But where do men go to? Where do men go and say what we really want to say? Where's the help at for the men? They got all help for women. What about us men? What about us men that really want to be free? That really want to vent? That really want to cry? That really want to get all this out? What about us men? What about us? So brother, be encouraged. Be encouraged. Stay strong. Stay in the race. Don't give up.